Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. Hey, welcome back to the Calm Mom Podcast. It's Michelle Grosser here, your host, your master coach. I'm so grateful you've taken some time to spend with me this morning. We're going to talk about some habits that might be causing your burnout, my friend. It's going to be really good. But before we do, you have probably heard and seen that registration for the summer cohort of Restore is open. This is my small group coaching program to regulate your nervous system, heal your burnout, ignite your energy. I want to let you guys know what Heidi had to say about Restore. She was in our last cohort. She says, before working with Michelle, I was experiencing low self-esteem, loss of identity, feeling lost, edgy, irritable, disconnected, all at the same time. Michelle didn't only help me with the self-awareness piece, but she gave me the tools to tackle it, like really practical and manageable, effective tools to turn those really rough moments and days around so much quicker. We also have a testimonial from Clarissa. She says, things that used to really set me off and stress me out don't trigger me like they used to. I now have better coping mechanisms after Restore, better techniques to be able to move through stressful situations more quickly. And that stress just doesn't impact me like it used to. This could be your story, you guys. I'm not sure what your summer's looking like, but I would venture to guess you might spend 30 minutes a week scrolling your phone. And instead, you could spend that 30 minutes learning how to regulate your nervous system, following my step-by-step guidance. I've laid it all out for you guys. You'll be supported by a community of incredible women who are going through the same journey, all with me as your personal guide. I know you're over it. I know you're over the anxiety. I know you're over the overwhelm, the burnout, the irritability. I know you might even have listened to this podcast for a while and you know what you need to do. But knowing what you need to do and then actually like having a step-by-step plan and a guide so you can take action on those things, that's two different things, right? So if this feels like I'm speaking to you, join the summer cohort. Like imagine going into the fall, into the next school year, into the holidays. Imagine just going into the next season feeling so much better. You're worth it, my friend. We start next week. If you're listening to this live, click the link in the show notes, michellegrosser.com/restore, register, save your spot today. I want to meet you. I want to work with you. I want to coach you. I want to teach you. I'll see you there. Okay, so today I want to talk about 5 habits that are contributing to your burnout. Burnout is a slippery slope kind of thing, right? Like it doesn't happen overnight. It kind of creeps up on us. And it happens because we get kind of stuck into or sucked into these habits and these patterns that we've been running for years, probably even decades for most of us, right? Patterns in our thinking, patterns in the way we speak, patterns in our behavior. So much of what we're doing, so much of this stuff, right, is without our conscious awareness, i.e. you may not even be aware of these 5 sneaky habits that are causing you to burn out. And not only that, I think that for most of these, they're actually they're rewarded by society, right? A society that has no understanding of the things that drive our nervous system to dysregulation, right? A society that has no understanding of the impact of nervous system regulation, a society that expects us as women, high-achieving women, especially moms, to be able to do all the things for all the people and still have, I don't know what, like the body of a 21-year-old and the energy of a 5-year-old and a Pinterest-worthy house and a multi-million-dollar career, right? And make organic meals for our family every night. Like it's insane. and it's insidious and it's all around us. And then without realizing it, we kind of start having these expectations for ourselves and it drives us to burnout. So let's go through these 5 habits. There's obviously a ton of different patterns that can contribute to burnout, but these are 5 of the ones that I can relate to personally. And they're also 5 that I see most commonly in the women I work with, in my one-on-one coaching clients, in Side of Restore, our group coaching program. So let's see how many you relate to. The first habit that might be causing your burnout is the habit of being strong. And I say strong in like air quotes. Being strong, constantly trying to be strong, often actually means that you're in a pattern of suppressing your emotions, right? You can't show weakness and you have labels around, asking for help or showing emotion or whatever it is that has to be suppressed so you can seem strong. And over time, suppressing your emotions, right? Bottling everything up, pushing it down can lead to increased stress and anxiety because those unresolved emotions, you guys, emotion is energy in motion. And if we're not releasing those emotions in a healthy way and they're being repressed and they're being suppressed, it builds up. That energy builds up and it weighs so heavily on our mind and our body and it zaps our window of tolerance. And we find that the littlest things then, right, set us off because we have no space. Suppressing our emotions rather than actually feeling them, processing them, releasing them in a healthy way, that reduces your emotional resilience. So all of a sudden, like the littlest things seem to bring up such a big emotion in you, a big reaction, and you and probably the people around you are like, whoa, like where did that come from, right? So when life happens, because life's going to keep happening, right? Challenging situations arise, our kids trigger us, whatever it is, our ability to cope, it diminishes, especially our ability to cope effectively. And that leads us to feelings of overwhelm and feelings of burnout. We actually have a whole week inside of Restore focused entirely on emotional regulation. So if you find yourself frequently feeling emotionally volatile, like maybe you feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, maybe you find you're reacting instead of responding, maybe you notice your family even feels like they have to walk on eggshells around you because they don't want to set you off. Or maybe the opposite end of that spectrum, like maybe you're aware that you're not actually showing or feeling a lot of emotion. Maybe you tend to suppress or withdraw and, be quote unquote strong. And that's causing you to feel all the things that come with that, right? Bitterness, resentment, you're just annoyed, you're exhausted. Either way, you need practical tools to help you regulate your emotions. And there's a whole module inside of Restore where this is exactly what I teach you. The other thing with being strong is that there's so much striving in it. Striving to be strong it's often paired with this tendency toward perfectionism. So if you're someone who tends to have unrealistic expectations for yourself, right? Really high goals, you don't allow yourself any leeway, any flexibility, you don't allow any room for error or mistake. That constant pursuit of perfection, like being able to do all the things, like we know in our mind that this is exhausting and it's unsustainable. But when we get stuck in this pattern of being that strong one, it's going to lead us to burnout, right? It's this unconscious need to prove that we're strong, right? That we might even be reluctant to ask help or seek support from others, right? We can do it all ourselves. And that causes us at the end of the day really to be isolated and maybe even lonely and certainly exhausted in time. So that's the first one. The second habit that might be causing your burnout is you might have a habit of worrying more about what other people think than what you actually think, right? It's kind of a pattern of people pleasing. And what does that lead us to? Well, I think first, when it relates to burnout, it leads us to a pattern of over committing. Like, how many of you can relate to being someone who is over committed? If we have patterns of people pleasing, we tend to take on too many responsibilities, right? We want to keep everyone around us happy. We want to be able to show up for them. But what happens? We have this overwhelming workload, this overwhelming calendar. There's no margin. There's no space. It's excessive, right? Every commitment we're saying yes to It's stretching our time, it's stretching our energy, and it results in chronic stress. And when we're super worried about what others might think, it also puts us kind of in this trap where we feel like we can't say no. And maybe you can relate to this, right? It's like this fear of being rude, this fear of disappointing others, this fear of being judged, this fear of not seeming strong, right? That in that air quotes again. And it causes us to have a hard time saying no. And that causes us to overextend ourselves. And that causes us to not have any time to recharge, right? And just be. And it's that kind of domino effect that can lead to burnout where we're like, man, how did I get here? And then we look back and we're like, oh, it's been years of these patterns. The other thing too about worrying so much about what other people think is like just that, you guys, it's exhausting. The effort to keep everyone around you happy, the effort to keep like meeting everyone's expectations, it requires you to be in this constant state of like monitoring everyone's responses, right? Monitoring everyone's actions, monitoring everyone's potential reactions. And that takes a toll on your mental health. So that's number 2. Number 3, the third habit that may be causing your burnout, and listen up here, if you're spacing, come back to me because this one is so prevalent and so many of us are so unaware of it. The third habit that might be causing your burnout is that you may be operating in an imbalance of your masculine energy. I coach a lot around energetics, especially those of you who are like me, the leaders, right? The doers, the high achievers, the ambitious ones, the competitive ones. Like if that is you, listen up because this is going to help somebody. When I talk about masculine and feminine energy, or when people, right, talk about masculine and feminine energy, it refers to different sets of like qualities and approaches to life. It's not necessarily tied to your gender. So masculine energy is not like men and feminine energy is not just what women do. We all operate in both masculine and feminine energy in different parts of our life. In fact, we actually need to have a good balance of both in order to live a life that feels really full and fulfilled and purposeful and meaningful and productive, all of these things, right? While also being in alignment and feeling like we are operating from a place of presence and ease and flow and creativity. And what happens is that too many of us, especially us high achieving, ambitious women, we're living out of balance in our masculine and feminine energies. And this is a coping mechanism. It's a way that we've overcompensated with masculine energy. And it's not how we were created to function as women. It's just not, right? It's out of balance. And we find ourselves feeling like we are always pushing, always striving, right? Everything feels hard. And it's because our energetics are out of balance. It's because something has happened in our life experience where we felt like our feminine energy is not a safe place to be. So what's the difference in the two? Well, if you're operating in a place of masculine energy, what does that look like? It looks like taking a ton of action. It looks like being super comfortable in your head, logical, analytical. You can intellectualize anything and everything. Maybe you're pretty like bold, you're assertive. Maybe you're really like task oriented, goal oriented, achievement oriented, right? It shows up by you're someone who like takes charge, you make decisions, you push forward, you get things done. All awesome, right? Like all awesome. I'm here for it. And if that is out of balance with our feminine energy, the aspects of our feminine energy, it will lead us straight to burnout. Feminine energy, on the other hand, right? This is the balance part of this, is associated with our intuition, our nurturing, right? Our creativity, connection, empathy. It manifests as so many different ways, right? Being receptive. Like, can you receive, right? Can you collaborate with others? Can you tune in with others' emotions? Can you be in relationships, right? It's the flow and the go. It's the be and the do, right? It's the creativity and the execution. We need a balance of both. But so many of us have been conditioned to lean on the masculine overly so. And especially as women, it will lead us to burnout. So learning how to feel safe, slowing down, how to feel safe, softening, how to feel safe, receiving, being led, being creative, being held, trusting your intuition, surrendering, right? Not having a death grip of control on everything. That's a symptom of dysregulation. those will all bring a new sense of ease and a new sense of healing to your burnout. So this is a big one. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4, the fourth habit that may be causing your burnout is that you may be in a habit of denying your calling. If you are living out of alignment, you guys, that will burn you out. So just ask yourself honestly right now, like, do you dread the start of every day? Like, do you just dread going to work? Do you dread waking up in the morning? Like your feet hit the ground when you get out of bed and you're just like filled with this sense of dread. Maybe you don't go to work. Maybe you stay home, right? Does your day drain you? The people that you are around, do they drain you? Where are you living out of alignment with your calling, with your passion, with your purpose? It's going to lead you in burnout. Like, ask me how I know. Ask me how I know, right? That was me for 15 years. I was smart. I was level-headed, but I was also super naive. And when I graduated college in 2008, economic recession, right? No one's hiring. I figured, like, why not go to law school? I thought that's what smart people do. I love to read. I love to learn. I love, logic puzzles. And I freaking loved law school. I really did. Like, I'm a nerd through and through. But then I got out of law school and I got a job at a big law firm. And I'm sure everyone that loved me was so proud of me. And then I realized that actually being a lawyer was not like what I thought it would be, right? I realized that the people who become lawyers are, I'm going to overgeneralize here, but by and large, miserable. I realized that, the billing requirements, the hours you're expected to work are inhumane. But here I was, right? I had a mortgage worth of student loans, my degree on the wall, right? So I had to keep going. That's what I thought. I thought it would get better. And I'm a litigator. I've been a trial attorney for 15 years, right? So people that are coming to me are people who are in a pickle so big, like a fight so big, something went so wrong that they had to hire me, right? Lawyers had to get involved. Stress is always high. We're always fighting. Like, there's no life in it. And then I had kids. And then that was a joke to try to do all of it, right? I was burnt out. I was miserable. My poor kids, my poor family, they just weren't getting the best of me, right? They weren't getting the mom that they honestly deserved. And I just remember having this one-on-one coaching session. It was a day where I had a one-on-one coaching session in the morning, and then I had a deposition in the afternoon. And I just remember that day so clearly because my morning one-on-one coaching session was amazing. Like, I literally witnessed this woman have a massive breakthrough, like all of these tears, all of this revelation, like this big, huge aha moment. She left feeling so inspired and encouraged and full of hope with this plan of action. And like, it was just incredible, right? And then I had lunch and then I took a deposition that afternoon. And I remember so clearly I was deposing a woman who owned a company. And her employees had allegedly been negligent and they had caused some damage to a property. And here I was, right, grilling her, honestly, because that was my job. And I just remember watching her as I'm asking her this whole series of questions. And mind you, I'm being kind. I'm being, as gentle as I can be. I'm being respectful. I'm being professional. But my job is to just ask her this series of questions, proving that her people were not following protocol, that they weren't doing their job right, that they were negligent, that they caused all of this damage. And I just remember watching her posture change. And I remember like 5 minutes into grilling her, her shoulders just start to slump and her head kind of comes down. And I'm like, I don't even know how to say this in the way, but like, it feels like I'm just beating her up. And mind you, like, I'm trying to do this in a really respectful way, but that was my job. And I just feel like God just laid it out so plainly for me that day. Like how for me, practicing law in the way that I was for me. Now, people need to practice law. I'm so grateful for those that do. But for me, it was a denial of my true calling, right? And this is my story. But I think a lot of us have a similar story, right? It's like I saw in the morning something that gave so much life. And then I saw in the afternoon something that just like was life sucking. It sucked the energy. It sucked the will. It sucked the fire out of this woman. And I think so often we feel stuck doing the same things over and over and over, even though we have no passion for it. We know it's not our calling. We know it doesn't feel aligned. We wake up dreading it because we think we have to, right? We think it's the safe choice. We think we're obligated. We think we owe it to someone. We think we owe it to ourselves, right? I have the degree. I got the degree. I've got to put it into practice. I don't want to take what feels like a step backwards. I don't want to do something really bold. But let me tell you, living inauthentically, constantly worrying about everyone else's opinion, doing things from a place of obligation, changing our behavior constantly to gain approval or to fit in. This is disconnection from your true self, and it is flipping exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting. It will diminish your sense of fulfillment. And guys, it's ignoring your desires, like this tug that God has placed within you for a reason. It's ignoring your values. It's causing this deep sense of dissatisfaction, right? In the depths of your soul. And it's emotionally exhausting, and it will burn you out just like it did for me. So that's number 4. And then the 5th one I want to go over with you guys, the 5th habit I think that might be causing your burnout is you probably have subconscious labels or judgment around rest, right? So many of us do. And again, they're mostly unconscious. You ever been laying on the couch or like sitting somewhere or laying in bed and someone walks into the room, it's like the middle of the day, and you just jump up, right? You feel like you have this like instant urge to go do something to prove that you like, heaven forbid, they think you're lazy or it looks like you're resting or something. Here are the 2 ways I usually see this show up, right? Having judgment around rest. 1, maybe you're equating your worth to your productivity. So your thought process is something like, if I get all my stuff done, right? If I get a bunch of stuff done, if I'm, being productive and ticking everything off my checklist, then I'm using my time well, right? If I got everything done on my to-do list today, it's a good day. If I'm freaking exhausted and beat and irritable and like stick a fork in me, I'm so done. But the laundry also got done and the bathroom also got deep cleaned and the play date also happened. And, I met my deadline for this project. Only then am I proud of myself. And the problem here is that it's faulty thinking, right? It's not sustainable. Hear me, and believe you me, I love hard work, right? Like I believe in a work ethic. I can out hustle anyone. Like I can hustle as hard as anyone. However, when I feel guilty for resting, taking a break, slowing down, recharging, that is a red flag to me that I've got a faulty mindset that I've got to shift, right? It's a signal that I've got to shift. The second way that I see this showing up is thinking that we have to earn our rest. How often have you thought that, right? I can only rest when I get these like 17 things done. And we think we have to do all of it. And then when we do all of it, then we'll be able to rest, right? The problem is that we're so stinking tired that we can't get those 17 things done. And then we don't reach our deserved, in our minds, right, time of rest. It's also a mindset shift. We don't work so we can rest. Flip that on its head. You rest, my friends, so that you can work. And you can work from a place of energy, a place of presence, a place of creativity, clarity, all of these things because you're rested. So those are the 5 habits that are probably causing or at least significantly contributing to your burnout. It's this thought process that you've got to be strong, a pattern of people pleasing, an energetic imbalance, leaning way too far into your masculine energy, living out of alignment, and then having this judgment around rest, right? That we have to either earn rest or that we have to get all our stuff done, or we're not worthy of rest, or rest is lazy, or we're only worthy if we're productive, right? All of those thoughts. So that's what I've got for you today. Last call for Restore. We start next week if you're listening to this live. So there's no time to waste. You're going to interrupt your pattern of procrastinating, putting it off right now. You're going to sit down. You're going to register, save your seat for the summer cohort of Restore. We start on the 17th. The lessons are pre-recorded. So the first week's modules and lessons and worksheets are going to be released on the 17th. You can listen and learn to those lessons like on your own schedule, whenever works best for you. And then on Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern, we're going to meet on Zoom for an hour. live coaching. The live calls are recorded. So if you can't make it live for any of our Thursday calls, no worries. I invite you to invest in yourself. This is our third cohort of Restore. It has been such a joy watching all of these women that have come through the program heal, transform, regulate, and just leave with so much hope, so much energy, so many tools, like a 180 from how they came in. And I want that for you too. So the link is in the show notes. Go to michellegrosser.com/restore. Join us this summer for the summer cohort. Make it the summer you regulated your nervous system. Guys, it's honestly the greatest investment. It trickles down to every other area of your life. If not for you, do it for your kids. I'll be there. I'd love to see you there. All right. Take care, my friends. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Polygraphs, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.